In a country built on logic and law, there are still disappearances and deaths that defy every explanation. No suspects, no motive, no evidence, only scattered clues, twisted theories, and an eerie silence that lingers. In this video, we dive into the top 3 most mysterious disappearances and unexplained deaths in the U.S. Stories that chill the spine and leave only one question: what really happened? And don't forget to subscribe, because sometimes one click is all it takes to stay safe and just a little bit luckier. In this unpredictable world, the disappearance of Maura Murray, 2004. Picture a cold February night in New Hampshire. A young woman, just 21 years old, drives alone into the darkness, leaving behind a trail of secrets no one has yet untangled. On February 9, 2004, Maura Murray, a bright and promising nursing student, left her university without warning, telling a small lie and vanishing. Not long after, her car was found wrecked on the side of a snowy road. She didn't call for help, she didn't leave a note, and she was never seen again. Her story isn't just a disappearance, it's a puzzle with pieces that never quite fit. A maze where every clue opens up new corridors of doubt, like a falling star that flared for a moment before vanishing from the sky. Maura left behind more questions than answers, and somewhere in the shadow of the White Mountains, the truth still drifts elusive, cold, and silent. Rewind to a bitter winter afternoon in 2004, when the icy winds cut sharply through Amherst, Massachusetts, as if whispering secrets no one dared to hear. Maura Murray was a young woman of radiant smiles and dimples that could light up a room. A nursing student at the University of Massachusetts, she was no ordinary girl. Once a track star with legs like springs and the speed of a summer breeze, she had earned a scholarship to West Point before transferring schools. But beneath her flawless exterior churned dark undercurrent storms she kept locked deep inside. Just days before she vanished, a phone call shattered her fragile calm. At her campus job in security, Maura received a call so devastating that tears streamed down her face, and she had to be supported back to her dorm. Like a wounded bird caught in a tempest, no one knew who was on the other end. What words were spoken, but that call was a stone thrown into the still lake of her soul, sending ripples across the surface. Troubles had shadowed her already. An accident involving her father's car that cost thousands to repair. A stolen credit card charge that haunted her despite being expunged. And pressures looming like thick forest canopies, blocking out the sun. On the morning of February 9th, Maura acted strangely, her behavior sharp and cold, like the frost coating the window panes. She emailed professors with a fabricated story of a family death, requesting a week off school. A lie as stark and chilling as the snow outside. She searched for directions to Burlington, Vermont. She called the owner of a rental in Bartlett, New Hampshire, a place her family had once vacationed, a sanctuary for memories. She withdrew nearly all of her savings, $280, and bought alcohol, stuffing her black Saturn with textbooks, workout clothes, toiletries, even birth control pills. Signs of a journey carefully packed, a silent promise to herself. Her car rolled northward, heading toward the winding roads of the White Mountains, roads that twisted and turned like the questions surrounding her fate. Then, just after 7 p.m., on Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a sudden crash shattered the night's fragile silence. Maura's car collided with a snowbank, trapped like a wounded animal, caught in a snare. Faith Westman, a nearby resident, heard the impact and called the police to report a stranded vehicle. Butch Atwood, a school bus driver, stopped to help. He found a young woman shivering but seemingly unhurt, standing beside the car. Atwood offered assistance, but Maura declined, saying she had already called for roadside help. Though no such call was ever logged, Atwood drove home just 100 yards away and dialed 911. But by the time the police arrived at 7:46 p.m., mere minutes later, Maura had vanished. The car was locked tight. Inside lay a box of red wine, red stains splattered on the ceiling, a Coke bottle filled with a suspicious red liquid, and personal belongings strewn as if she had stepped out of her life on a whim. No footprints in the snow, no signs of a struggle. It was as if the night itself had swallowed her whole. Initially, police suspected Maura left deliberately, based on her secretive preparations, but her family, burning with a fire that would not be extinguished, rejected that theory outright. Fred, her father, and Julie, her sister, believed she met with foul play, perhaps abducted, maybe worse. They criticized authorities for slow responses, overlooked clues like the handwritten phone number found in the car, and for failing to thoroughly question witnesses. Years passed, and searches swept through forests from Loon Mountain to Landau. Nothing surfaced. No clothing, no body, just silence. In 2019, a new lead sparked hope when cadaver dogs reacted near a house close to the scene, but excavation yielded only disappointment. Another search in 2022 in Easton and Landau again ended empty-handed. Whispers and conspiracy theories sprang up like weeds in the wilderness. Some said Maura fled to Canada to start anew. Others suspected Atwood knew more than he let on. But the New Hampshire woods, stoic and secretive, kept their lips sealed tight. Her family, led by Julie, refused to surrender. Billboards appeared. Podcasts, like Media Pressure, launched in 2024, revealing unseen details like lanterns piercing the dark. Julie pleaded, if just one person knows something, one small piece, it could unlock this mystery. More than 2 decades later, Maura remains a ghost, caught between hope and despair. A song unfinished, echoing in the cold mountain winds, forever searching for its final verse. On that cold February night in 2004, Maura Murray slipped away into the shadows, her car disappearing into the endless black canvas of the New Hampshire woods. Like a fragile whisper caught in a winter storm, she vanished without a trace, leaving behind only fragments of a story too tangled to unravel. Her disappearance became more than just a missing persons case. It turned into a haunting riddle, one that the digital age would obsess over, piecing together shards of truth scattered like broken glass across a snow-blanketed road. Her family's hope burns like a steady flame against the icy winds of uncertainty, refusing to let the darkness swallow her memory whole. Yet Maura, with her dimpled smile and restless spirit, feels more like a ghost, drifting through the white silence of the mountains, forever lost between the world she left behind and the secrets those woods keep locked tight. In the end, she's both a mystery and a monument, a poignant reminder that some stories remain unfinished, echoing endlessly in the cold air, where hope and despair walk hand in hand. The death of Kendrick Johnson, 2013. Imagine a normal school morning in Valdosta, Georgia hallways buzzing with teenage chatter, sneakers squeaking on polished floors, and the steady rhythm of a day unfolding as usual. But on January 11th, 2013, that familiar rhythm shattered into silence. Kendrick Johnson, a 17-year-old high school junior, was found lifeless, curled unnaturally inside a rolled-up gym mat in the school's wrestling room. A place meant for strength and victory turned into a chamber of mystery and sorrow. What began as a tragic accident spiraled quickly into a dark saga full of suspicion, pain, and unanswered questions. Kendrick's death wasn't simply a sad ending. It was the opening chapter of a complex story where shadows stretched long and truths hid behind layers of denial and confusion. The school's walls, once echoing with youthful energy, now seemed to whisper secrets no one dared to confront openly. Families, investigators, and the public wrestled with conflicting reports. Was this a horrific accident? Or something far more sinister? The search for answers stirred fierce debates and fierce emotions, revealing deep fractures in a community desperate for justice, but caught in a storm of silence and suspicion. Kendrick's story became a haunting puzzle, with pieces scattered and missing, like the fragments of a shattered mirror, reflecting a reality too painful to face head-on. In this tangled web of grief and controversy, one thing remains painfully clear. Kendrick Johnson's life was cut short, but the fight to uncover the truth behind his death continues, echoing long after that cold January morning. Travel back to Valdosta, Georgia, a quiet southern town where winter mornings in 2013 were painted with pale sunlight and a biting chill that cut through the air. Kendrick Johnson, known to friends and family as KJ, was a 17-year-old high school junior who embodied youthful promise, an athlete with dreams as wide as the horizon. Kendrick was a star on both the football field and basketball court. His smile, bright and contagious, was a beacon of hope and warmth for everyone who knew him. At home, he was a devoted son, helping his mother prepare meals, playing with his younger siblings, and carrying the pride of his family like a shield. On January 10th, Kendrick entered the Lowndes High School gymnasium, a place where he had trained countless times, a place filled with familiar sounds of bouncing basketballs and the slap of wrestling mats. But this day would mark the threshold of tragedy. The following morning, the school was shattered by a discovery so chilling it seemed almost surreal. Kendrick's lifeless body was found twisted and curled inside a rolled-up gym mat, positioned upright in the corner of the wrestling room, his head bowed down, trapped in a suffocating cocoon of fabric, an image so haunting it seemed like a nightmare creeping into the waking world. The student who found him had been reaching for a pair of shoes, lodged beneath another mat, only to stumble upon this grim scene. Her scream pierced the morning silence, echoing through the halls like an alarm that would never be silenced. The police swiftly labeled it a tragic accident. Kendrick, they explained, had apparently tried to retrieve his sneakers stuck inside the mat, slipped, and became trapped in a deadly position that cut off his air supply. Yet this official explanation, like a fragile veil, quickly began to unravel. Kendrick's family, fierce and unyielding in their grief, refused to accept this narrative. When Jacqueline and Kenneth Johnson gazed upon their son's body, they saw signs that spoke volumes beyond what the authorities disclosed: a swollen face, bloodied lips, and bruises in strange patterns, marks that whispered of a truth desperately hidden. Even more disturbing was the revelation that Kendrick's vital organs, his brain, heart, and lungs, had been replaced with newspapers during the autopsy. A procedure, the medical examiner claimed, was standard practice, but which felt like a betrayal to a family desperate for answers. Determined to uncover the reality behind Kendrick's death, the family hired an independent forensic expert. His findings struck like lightning. Kendrick died from blunt force trauma, not accidental suffocation. There was a wound on his neck, and internal bleeding, clear signs pointing to foul play. Questions multiplied like shadows at dusk. Why were Kendrick's shoes found beneath his feet if his body was inverted? Why were bloodstains near the mat never properly analyzed? And why was the surveillance footage from the gym mysteriously missing crucial hours? Dismissed as damaged, but fueling suspicions of a cover-up. Conspiracy theories ignited like wildfire. Some speculated that Kendrick had been assaulted by classmates, possibly stemming from a romantic rivalry or a personal vendetta. A particular suspect, son of a local FBI agent, was named by the family, but evidence remained elusive. Others believed jealousy within the football team had brewed deadly animosity. Social media became a battleground, amplifying voices that accused racial bias, corruption, and silence from law enforcement. The community fractured. While some accepted the tragedy as a horrible accident, others saw shadows of deception lurking in the corners. The family filed lawsuits against the school and certain officials, demanding a thorough investigation. But courts dismissed the claims due to insufficient evidence. The FBI reopened and closed their probe without finding proof of criminal wrongdoing. A 2018 independent report sided with the accident theory. But the Johnson family's fire for justice refused to dim. They held rallies, organized marches, and kept Kendrick's memory alive as a symbol of the struggle against injustice and silence. In 2021, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office announced a review of the case files, but no new revelations emerged. The incomplete security footage remains a haunting enigma, a puzzle piece, forever missing. Kendrick Johnson's death transcended a simple tragedy. In a nation grappling with deep-rooted racial tensions, the loss of this young black athlete, under mysterious circumstances, struck a chord far beyond Valdosta. It became a mirror reflecting broader issues of inequality, mistrust, and the elusive nature of truth. That wrestling mat in the gym, a silent witness holds its secrets tight, leaving behind a family broken by grief, a community divided, and a world filled with questions that still cry out for answers. Kendrick Johnson was a bright-eyed 17-year-old with dreams as big as the Georgia sky. On January 10th, 2013, he walked into the Lowndes High School gym and never walked out again. His lifeless body, found curled inside a rolled-up gym mat, ignited a storm of controversy, suspicion, and heartbreak that continues to ripple through his family and community. Was it a tragic accident? Or something far darker, concealed behind layers of silence and unanswered questions? More than a decade later, justice remains shrouded in shadows, and Kendrick Johnson's name echoes as a haunting reminder that sometimes the truth lies buried deeper than the body itself, hidden in the cracks of a story left unfinished. Crater Lake Disappearances, Oregon's the Bennington Triangle. Beneath the towering peaks of Oregon's Cascade Mountains lies Crater Lake, a mesmerizing sapphire pool, serene and deceptively calm. Its glassy surface reflects the sky like a sacred mirror. But beneath that tranquil beauty lurks a darkness older than the trees that surround it. For centuries, the Klamath tribe has whispered of a guardian spirit, a fearsome deity said to dwell in the lake's depths, punishing those who dare disturb its waters. Yet, beyond legend, Crater Lake's shadowy forests and mist-shrouded trails have witnessed something even more unsettling, a string of disappearances so mysterious, so chilling, that the region has earned a reputation akin to Vermont's infamous Bennington Triangle. People simply vanished without trace, without explanation, vanishing into the cold embrace of the wild, as if swallowed by the earth itself. This is not just a place of breathtaking natural beauty. It is a labyrinth of secrets where reality blurs into myth, and where the past's restless echoes reach out through the rustling pines and chilling winds. As the sun dips behind the jagged peaks and darkness falls over Crater Lake, an eerie silence descends, a silence that speaks of lost souls and unanswered questions. Join the journey deep into the heart of Oregon's most haunting wilderness, where every shadow could hide a secret and every whisper carries the weight of a vanished life. Welcome to the mystery of the Crater Lake. Disappearances, the Bennington Triangle's elusive twin beneath the pale Oregon sky. Crater Lake glistens like a flawless sapphire nestled deep within the wilderness. Its surface is so still and clear it mirrors the heavens above. Yet beneath that glassy calm lies a nearly 2,000-foot abyss, an ancient chasm holding secrets no one has dared to unravel. More than a geological marvel born from the collapse of Mount Mazama nearly 8,000 years ago, Crater Lake is a sacred place steeped in the legends of the Klamath people. According to their tales, a fierce battle once raged between Yao, the god of the underworld, and Skel, the sky god. Yao was torn apart and cast down into the depths of the lake, leaving behind a curse. Anyone who enters this land without respect will be dragged down into the spirit world. This curse seems to cloak the lake in a shroud of mystery, transforming the area into a labyrinth of disappearances where people vanish as silently and mysteriously as morning mist dissolves in the sun. Among these haunting stories, the disappearance of 8-year-old Samuel Bolke stands out, chilling the hearts of many. On October 14th, 2006, Sammy and his father Kenneth visited Cleetwood Cove, the only trail that leads down to the lake's pristine waters. As the cold twilight set in, with wind howling through the pine trees like restless spirits, Sammy, wearing a blue jacket and bright red shoes, darted up a rocky hillside like a curious fawn. Then, as if pulled away by an unseen force, he vanished. Over 200 people ringers, rescue teams, and volunteers from neighboring states scoured the area with dogs and helicopters. But no trace of Sammy was ever found. The autumn chill seemed to be the only silent witness, the forest holding its secrets close. Sammy had mild autism and preferred small, enclosed spaces, making it even harder to imagine what happened in the vast wilderness. Some guessed he might have gotten lost, fallen down a slope, or succumbed to the cold, but not a single footprint, piece of clothing, or clue was ever recovered. It was as if he had been swallowed by the very air around Crater Lake, becoming part of its curse. Before Sammy, others had also disappeared into the shadows of this eerie place. In 1975, Charles McCullough, a 27-year-old photographer from Eugene, set out to capture the lake's winter beauty. Equipped with his camera and determination, Charles never returned. His father camped around the lake all summer searching for him, but it wasn't until October 1976 that hikers found Charles's torn backpack and car keys near Bybee Creek, far from any trail. Later, his skeletal remains were discovered, strangely scattered and wearing only a pair of pants, as if his body had melted into the earth, hence the nickname, the Melting Man of Crater Lake. Oddly, Charles showed no signs of walking through deep snow without snowshoes, and his camera and money were missing, sparking suspicions of foul play. Yet police ruled his death as hypothermia. The truth remains veiled, like a thick fog hanging over Oregon's wilderness. Another chilling disappearance was that of Derek Ingebretson, an 8-year-old boy who vanished on December 5th, 1998, while searching for a Christmas tree near Pelican Butte, about 30 miles from Crater Lake. Armed with a small axe, Derek wandered away from his father and grandfather into the snow-covered forest, reported missing around 4:13 p.m. This bit of the search began, but a fierce snowstorm swiftly blanketed the area, erasing all traces. Rescuers found tiny footprints and a small snow angel Derek might have made. But then, abruptly, the trail ended as if he had been lifted into the sky. Over 10,000 hours of searching with dogs and helicopters yielded no answers. In Nit, a cryptic graffiti near Bend mentioned Derek, but the FBI dismissed it as a cruel hoax. A suspect investigated in 2008 was never linked to the case. Derek remains a haunting, unfinished note in Oregon's wilderness. Crater Lake's mysteries extend beyond disappearances. In 1911, a photographer vanished during a snowstorm, leaving behind a carefully constructed snow cave, but no signs of struggle or human presence. In 1947, a man slipped from a cliff and drowned in the lake, as if summoned by the spirit of Yao. Legends speak of lake monsters, ghosts on Wizard Island, missing planes, UFO sightings, and Bigfoot tracks all, weaving a tapestry of eerie tales. Crater Lake is more than a breathtaking natural wonder. It's a gateway between worlds, swallowing those who dare cross its threshold. Here, ancient fears meet the unknowable, and some souls are lost forever to the dark depths beneath the mirror-like surface. Crater Lake, with its mesmerizing depths of sapphire blue and the endless stretch of shadowed forests, stands as a haunting crossroads where breathtaking beauty and unfathomable mystery entwine like light and darkness in eternal dance. Within its vast embrace, countless souls, including Samuel Bolke, Charles McCuller, Derek Engebretson, and many others have vanished without a trace, swallowed by the wilderness, or perhaps by something far more sinister and unseen. Were they simply lost to the unforgiving grip of nature? Or did some invisible force claim them, weaving them into the lake's ancient curse? Their families wait, still hope flickering like fragile lanterns in a pitch-black night, yearning for answers that the lake, cold and silent, refuses to reveal. Crater Lake keeps its secrets locked tight, a timeless guardian of the restless spirits who wandered too far into the shadowy heart of Oregon's wilds, leaving behind only whispers carried by the wind and an unsettling silence that echoes through the ages. Conclusion: 3 cases, 3 endings no one understands. People full of life gone without reason, or found dead under impossible circumstances. Decades pass, and yet the truth remains, hidden in the shadows. Maybe these mysteries are a warning. Not everything in our world is meant to be solved. If these stories made you think twice, be sure to subscribe, because sometimes a little curiosity might just keep you safe and lucky in a world full of unanswered questions.